Hi, Sam here from Guitar.com. I'm with Matt from the Gibson Custom Shop, and we're looking at the unbelievably good-looking 60th anniversary Les Paul. Matt, it's in a brand new range of colors, so what can you tell us about these?
So we're doing 3 different versions of a 1960 Les Paul Standard. So this is a version 1, which is basically the same specs as the 59. So it's going to have a 59 neck profile, 59 appointments, in 2 colors that are representative of what you would see in early 1960. So this is kind of the unfaded from the factory look, and then we'll also have an antiquity burst behind me, which is what this would look like faded out. And under these parts is the unfaded cherry red, just as if the sun had faded it naturally, which is kind of cool. And so that's version 1, and version 2 represents the middle third of 1960. That's when the neck profiles get much slimmer, and some of the parts change, so I can show you what that looks like. So this is when a different color starts to appear, called a tomato burst. The red is a little bit more vibrant, there's a little bit more orange in there, and the colors are more color fast, so they didn't fade as much as the 59s in early 1960s. And so we also developed these new true historic reflector knobs, because why not? And so there's some new components as well, but all of the guitars we've scanned over the last 30 years of the custom shop, we're using all of that data to our advantage and trying to give you the most authentic vintage ownership experience you can possibly have. So that's version 2, and then that's available in tomato burst and then an orange lemon fade, also known as a clown burst, but it's really gained a cult following, so we're like, we got to do it, we got to lean into it. So I'll show you the version 3. So in the last third of 1960, you would see even wider tomato burst finishes like this, and you'd see the Gibson's thinnest neck profiles that they ever offered. So this has a very, very exceptionally thin neck, which is actually really fun to play. Like, you play it differently than you would a 58 or a 59. So they've each got their own fans, and some are fans of both different necks. It's just different styles of playing. We're also doing these limited edition back plates just for all of these 60th anniversary 1960 models. But so the last colors are going to be this wide tomato burst, and then also a dark burst, which you'd also see in the very last part of 1960. So each one of these colors kind of plays into the legacy of these 1960 models, and each one tells a story as well. So.
Thanks very much, Matt. Next we're going to move on to the ES models. Alright, so we moved on over to the ES section. This is a new 59 Blonde. So Matt, what can you tell us about this new model?
So I'm very excited about these this new historic reissue ES collection at Custom Shop. Obviously, when we brought the ES guitars back to Nashville last year, we had our work cut out for us. Custom Shop hadn't produced them to the extent that Memphis had anyway for a couple of decades. So we wanted to take this opportunity to really make the guitars even more undeniable, even more accurate, use some of the advantages we had out of Custom Shop, like our true historic parts. So when we set out for it, we really wanted to make every element on the guitar, every contour, every rim profile, the neck profile, and each and every part identical to the vintage example. So this is a 59 Blonde. We're doing them in Sunburst and Blonde. We're doing a 61 in Cherry Red and Sunburst, and a 64 in Cherry Red and Sunburst. And each model is subtly different, but generally speaking, the 59 has the larger neck. Each neck is scanned from an original guitar, so when you're holding this neck, you're holding an original 59. And a 61 is going to be a much slimmer neck. A 64 gets pretty big again, almost as big as a 59. So those are the main differences, and then some aesthetic differences, pickguard length, knobs, etc. But each one of these guitars is an incredible musical instrument. I mean, that's sometimes lost on people when we're trying to hone in on the vintage accuracy and the colors, but really it's about making great instruments. So all high glue construction, lightweight components, and each one of these guitars can play any style, any genre of music you put at it. I mean, pound for pound, might be the best guitar in the world, I think. So there's a great story to be told here with the ES guitars.
That's a big statement. But off camera, you just said to me that you also own a 61. So how does this new range compare to yours?
We actually we scanned it as well as about 14 other ES guitars. So we were able to not only use the data points to get there, but aesthetically compare colors. And honestly, I would put these guitars against any of their vintage equivalents, and they're almost indistinguishable from one another too, which is pretty amazing. So Honestly, we're not out to fool anybody. We're not making fake guitars of vintage guitars, but we're getting them so incredibly close. It's mind blowing. So I'm really excited.
Great, thanks very much, Matt. You can read more about these amazing new models over on guitar.com.